Alright, hello everyone and welcome back to Kottabos Space Program, where today we are having a look at yet another wonderful mod, this time in the form of Rusty Star Rockets, which is being made by forum user GagaX, and I figured with today being the release of Fallout 4, what better of a mod to look at than one which adds into the game a variety of rusted rocket parts. Yes, that's what this mod does. It gives you quite a large number of parts, all of which made of rusted metal. And I kinda like it. It's not my usual look that I personally go for in this game. I'm usually very much a stock-alike fan. But I don't know, there's just something about this mod, it has just enough uniqueness to it that I find it quite intriguing. So let's jump right on into the VAB and take a look at what rusted things this mod adds into the game. Now, first and foremost is, of course, various capsules. Now, we have 3 here. The first 2 are pretty similar in shape, size, and interior, thankfully, for a mod which is fairly newly released. It has interiors. Oh, it makes me happy. But yes, the first is the RSR capsule, a lovely little thing, somewhat akin to a Soyuz, but very, very nice indeed, and it holds 1 crew member, and has, of course, inside of it the usual reaction wheel, crew report, electric charge, and monopropellant. The next one is the RSR capsule Avion, which, if we just kind of pop this out here next to it, it's basically identical with the exception of it has this window right here. In this capsule, you look at a broken screen, which you can't actually see in front of you with. On this one, you actually have a window to view the world in front of you. Quite nice. And on both of them, you have these little side windows here that are on both sides of the capsule. Very cool. Otherwise, pretty much identical. Same 1 crew, reaction wheel, crew report, electric charge, and monopropellant. A very small amount of monopropellant, I just noticed. Wow, I didn't realize that it only had 1 monopropellant in it. That wouldn't be very useful. But then we have the third crew capsule that we have at the moment, the RSR Avion, which very similarly named here. I just realized the RSR capsule Avion, and then RSR Avion. Oh my, there's some originality with those names. But yes, a wonderful little, more of a space-plane capsule. Again, 1 crew on it, a reaction wheel, crew report, electric charge, and that odd 1 little monopropellant, but a very cool capsule nonetheless. Very sort of 50-ish style bomber or fighter jet sort of look to it, which is quite cool. And of course rusted, so yeah, that's a thing. Let's actually get a slightly better view at it by flipping it around. There you go, you can see those glorious rusted textures. Now, next we move into the fuel tanks, and we have quite a wide variety of fuel tanks, the first one being the Radon container. Now, Radon is a new fuel in this mod. For its electrical engine, instead of using xenon gas, it uses radon gas, and this holds 5,250, rather. Let me get that number right there. So yes, 5,250. And, yeah, nice little container. I like the look of it. I don't know why, but just that, the dual tone on the paint and the rust and the star, it speaks to me. The next one we have is purely a liquid fuel and oxidizer container at 90 liquid fuel, 110 oxidizer. Pretty small little thing. I love all the little rivet holes in it. Very, very cool. And again, that lovely rust. Very, very different to our usual clean-cut Kerbal colors over here, but I like it. I like it. Now, the next one we have is essentially an oil drum, and this one holds 180 liquid fuel to 20 oxidizer, and yeah, it's an oil drum. And again, it makes me laugh and smile. Now, we're going to have to zoom out a bit more for this one here. This is the RSR fuel tank K6400, and it's a biggin', a very biggin'. It just reminds me of one of those giant storage tanks you see on an industrial yard or something. And it holds a whopping 2,880 liquid fuel and 3,520 oxidizer. Very nice, very big. The next one we have is purely... Oh no, this one's liquid fuel and oxidizer again. Sorry about that. We are soon to get to the liquid fuel only tanks. But this one, a much thinner, longer tank here, which holds 360 liquid fuel, 440 oxidizer, and I don't know about this texture. This one looks a little strange. I just think it's too long. I think this texture would fit better on a shorter fuel tank, but still, nonetheless, nice and rusty. Now we have the purely liquid fuel containers. Again, oil drum looking thing, and this is a whopping 400 liquid fuel. Now the next one up is 800 liquid fuel, and very similar in texture to this one, just with, I guess, oil stains and rust on it, so there's a thing. Alright, and the next tank we have is actually probably my favorite, purely because I love the look of these sorts of tanks in any of the mods that we've seen these similar sort of styles of tanks in. I don't know, I just love it. The little sphere with all the struts and everything holding it together, and it holds 720 liquid fuel and 880 oxidizer. Very cool. The next is the Rusty Jumbo, and it is Jumbo. It holds inside of it 1,440 liquid fuel, 1,760 oxidizer. Nice little tank. Then we go into a larger liquid fuel only ones. Again, similar to this one for liquid fuel and oxidizer, just oil stained, and holds 3,200 liquid fuel. We then have this oxidizer only tank, which again, similar in design, but this one has the Rusty Star rockets on there, which is interesting, and holds a 3,911 oxidizer. Now, then we do also have a Rusty Jumbo 8, which is a nose cone that can hold fuel. There we go, and it holds within it 360 liquid fuel, 440 oxidizer. Very nice. Now, another lovely little addition here is this RSR external fuel duct. It's just like the normal fuel line, except, of course, this one is styled to be rusty. So it's a nice little extra thing that they also have rusty fuel lines. I like that. It makes me smile. So that's it for fuel tanks. On to engines, where we have that Radon engine that I was mentioning before, the Iguana Radon electric propulsion system. It's a big boy compared to the normal Dawn electric propulsion engine that uses xenon gas. This, of course, uses that radon gas. And this produces quite a good amount of thrust, a maximum vacuum thrust of 33 in atmosphere, only 0.99. And does use quite a bit more fuel than, say, the normal xenon gas engine. This one using 45 roughly electric charge per second max and 2.524 radon gas per second. So it'll eat through your fuel and your electricity, but it will give you a heck of a lot more power than that little guy. So next engine is a Radial liquid fuel engine. It's kind of odd looking. It's really all I can say about that engine. It's odd looking, but does provide you with atmospheric thrust of 96 roughly, vacuum thrust of 100, and consumes only 3 per second liquid fuel and 3.678 oxidizer per second, and does have some gimbaling range, which is always handy to have. Now, the next engines we have here are the RSR-1 engine, which is your just pretty standard, typical rocket engine. Produces a decent amount of thrust, atmosphere of 186, vacuum of 210, and consumes a fair amount of fuel, liquid fuel being at 6.2 per second, and oxidizer at 7.6 roughly per second. Does have gimbaling range, of course, again, always handy, and does actually have a nice little effect when the engine is powered on. The rings here sort of change color, which is quite cool. I'll show you that in a moment on the launch pad. The next one we have is the RSR-2 engine. This one quite a bit less powerful at only 13 thrust atmosphere, 70 vacuum, but also uses quite a bit less fuel at 1.8 per second on liquid fuel, 2.24 per second on the oxidizer. Nice little engine though, indeed. Let's zoom in a bit on it and see its rusted glory. There we go. And then zoom back out for the big boy in the mod, the RSR engine. There we go. That's a big one. It's a very big one. It produces a heck of a lot of thrust at 1,523 atmospheric thrust, 1,600 vacuum thrust, and consumes a crap load of fuel at 46 per second on liquid fuel, 57 per second roughly on the oxidizer. And yeah, it's It's beautiful, and I also want to show off something that I find quite cool in this mod. Now, of course, you all know that, say, if we pop one of these engines down here... Oh, I probably shouldn't have picked that engine size. And then put another under it. You get the nice little shield fairings on this, which is quite cool. And always nice to have those on your engines. And I like the fact that on this mod, they have their own custom ones, which is quite nice. So for this big, giant engine, if we then throw a rusted engine below it, boom! You just get these cool, odd little chain link fence looking things on there, which is quite cool. I really like that, and you can still see through to the engine. All sort of matches in with the rusty hodgepodge sort of thrown together nature of the parts in this mod, which I quite like. And for the smaller engines like this one, if we pop another here, it's just a nice rusted casing with, of course, that Rusty Star rockets painted on there in what is probably spray paint. But very, very cool indeed. I do quite enjoy that. Then in command and control, sadly nothing. Structural is where we have the next bits of stuff. We have an adapter, which is quite cool, just a nice little rusted adapter to go between the two different sizes. We, of course, have a rusted separator, only in one size. Hopefully we get more sizes of rusted separators in the future, but for now, that is our only one. I believe the only other thing, yes, in structural besides rusted struts. So yes, just like the fuel line, you can also get yourself some rusted struts to attach to things. There we go. Beautiful. So you can combine stuff together in all their rusted glory. Gotta love it. You gotta love it. So zoom out and go to aerodynamics, where we have the next couple of bits. The first being this radial intake, which is very awesome. I love this thing. It's just gigantic. It's huge. It's got the two cool intakes there. Very nice indeed. I just love the whole design to this thing. And again, it reminds me of stuff from Fallout, which is why I think I love this mod so much. And then after that, we have another air intake, which is purely to be used, mounted. There we go, and has those cool blue lights in there, which you'll get a better look at. There we go. I really do like that sort of blue glow around that air intake. Very nice indeed. We also have a very pointy nose cone. There we go. And yeah, it's just a nose cone that's pointy. And then, of course, we have a variety of wings. A Delta Wing right here that's just all wonderful and rusty. Another Delta Wing B, which is just smaller and rusty and more oil-stained, with another one of those lovely little stars. We then have a winglet right there. Again, the cool little star. And finally, an RSR Elevon 1, so you do have some control over your rusty planes. Usually, probably a good thing to have some control over your piles of rust. Now, last is utility. It's the last thing we have. Sadly, no rusted science. Hopefully that comes in the future. But in utility, we have 3 parts. The first of which being a rusted landing gear, which is just the standard sort of landing gear, but, you know, rusty. We do have a radial mounted parachute. Oh god, I just meant to grab the landing gear. And this radial mounted parachute is quite interesting. It looks like a rocket on the side of this thing, but it is in fact a parachute, and you will see it in practice in a little bit. We'll get to use it momentarily. And then finally a rusted landing gear. I think I said landing gear for the landing leg earlier, but yeah, you know what I meant. But yes, we also do have a rusted landing gear. Very nice indeed. So yes, This is the collection of parts that currently make up this mod. Now, the mod maker is working on a variety of new parts, including rusted solar panels, RCS tanks, all sorts of cool stuff like that. But for the time being, those are the parts we have. So let's go to this rusty sampler that I have out here so we can take a look at the various bits and bobs that we have on hand. So we can see the 3 interiors. So let's take a look at Bill first, who I believe is in... Oh, God, click off of that. Bill, yes, Bill is in this one. So let's take a look at his internal view. And this is that little ball sort of capsule with the window in front so you can see. And again, just like everything else, it's all nice, industrial, and rusted. We have the 2 side windows, which are very nice and handy. Our little error, do not panic, always good. And just a nice little nice little capsule, honestly. It's not exactly roomy, but then again, when you're building a spaceship out of rusted components, you probably don't want to make it roomy. It's probably going to be snug. But yes, that is that one. Jebediah is in the central cockpit here, which is the more space plane sort of version. Again, very squishy, but also just very cool. I love all the rusted components, etc. I wish the gauges were more rusted, but I do like that we got that little switch box over there. All very cool indeed. And finally, we have Bob in this one, which is the one without the window on it, like this. And if we go to Bob's IVA, we have this one. In case of emergency, don't panic, no signal. That is supposed to be your window to the outside world, but it doesn't work. So you have your two side windows and otherwise rusted control panel. I love all the doodling on this one down here. Very, very cool. I do love it. But yeah, that is the cockpits and their various interiors. So let's take a look at some of these engines. So first, let us have a gander at the little radial engine there. Pretty standard. One of the things that the mod maker is currently working on is actually unique particle effects for these engines. For the time being, they use fairly stock ones, but what I'm more interested in is the nozzle effects. I do like how they do change color. Notice how that's yellow right now. And if we shut down the engine, it goes back to the sort of normal brown. Same with this one. The rings here that are sort of the rusted brown rings, as we activate the engine, they start to glow more yellowish. I do enjoy that quite thoroughly. This one, on the other hand, doesn't really seem to change much color. Actually, I don't think I've noticed. Oh, no, actually, that lightens up slightly. That center line right there slightly lightens up as you do throttle. So if we turn that off, you can see it go back to rust color. Yes, lovely. But then, my favorite engine in this mod pack so far is the Iguana right here, the cool electrical engine. It's going to take a crap load of electricity, so hopefully I have enough batteries on this thing. So let's activate that, and you see we have this nice green glow. If we throttle up, it gets brighter. If you turn it down, it gets dimmer. No real particle effect coming out the back. Hopefully that will change in the future, but for right now, I like it. It's a cool little engine. But I have one more creation to show off, and you may have noticed that giant engine wasn't included in here. That's because I decided to, actually build a quick rocket to show off, so let's recover this vessel so we have our crew back, as we'll at least need one of them to fly. Yes, done on that. To fly, oh god, what did I call it? Rust 1! Oh, such an original name. It's wonderful. But yes, let's just take a look at this thing, and it is that giant sort of industrial tank in the center. The huge engine. We have the fun little adapters up top, and of course, 2 of the radial parachutes. It's a strange looking rocket, and hopefully it'll fly. I haven't actually tested this thing yet, so we'll find out together. Alright, let's open up our resources there, and throttle up, SAS, and take off in 3, 2, 1, lift off. I forgot to have the engine on. Oh my lord, we exploded everything. Parachutes. Yeah, I forgot to put the engine with the release mechanism. Well, let's restart that flight. Wow, though, I'm impressed. Just the engine hitting the launch pad was enough to destroy it. That is very impressive. I didn't realize it had that much explosive force. But okay, yeah, let's grab that and put it down here. I should always remember to check my staging. May that be a lesson to the rest of you. And now, in 3, 2, 1, lift off. There we go, and this lovely, large, and powerful engine easily takes us off now that it's actually on and not falling to its death. But yeah, let's see how high up we can get with just this one tank and this one engine. I mean, we're not exactly a heavy craft, so it's not going to be like we're going to, you know, taking up a whole lot of stuff at the moment. Oh, look at the interior of that. That is a beautiful red. It is also heating up. I probably should be slowing down. Oh boy, don't die. Don't explode. Don't explode from heat. Okay, so this goes up really quick. We've gone through about half fuel. Let's actually see on the map. So half fuel got us to about there. So this thing could easily get into space. But yeah, so that I don't die of heat effects, let us go forward a bit. and just wait until we begin to come back down. Let's actually add this to its own action group while we're at it, and just already go ahead and release. There we go. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're just a small, odd little capsule with what looks like 2 rockets strapped to it, but are in fact supposed to be parachutes, which you may have briefly seen when things went to hell on the launch pad. But now we can actually hopefully use them to their intended purpose of being parachutes. And Jebediah is still very, very red inside there. That is unnerving. It looks somewhat evil, which actually kind of makes sense for Jebediah. He's laughing in this evil red cockpit. This mod is very Jebediah now that I think of it. Beautiful. Alright, let's slow back down. Alright, there we go. We are getting the heat effects. Jebediah still cackling in there in his evil lighting. And come on. Wait until we're a bit closer in atmosphere. I wonder where those tanks are going to fall. Is that going to explode one of my buildings? It may. Oh, worth it. Alright, and we are in atmosphere now, so what the hell, we'll deploy the parachutes. It'll be a bit until they get to full. But there we go. Actually, it took pretty quickly, actually. I figured it wouldn't take until we were a bit lower down, but yeah, these are the parachutes. It's just like a whole lot of small parachutes tied together, which is what I love about these things. Everything in this mod is just, rusted and hodgepodge thrown together with bolts and duct tape, and it makes me smile. So yes, this is the Rusty Star Rockets mod. It is a fun one. I've been enjoying myself with it for the time being, and well, like I said, I think a fun little mod to show off on the day of Fallout 4's release. And also while I wait for other mods to update to the latest Kerbal Space Program, because that, of course, did also release at the time of making this video, so yesterday for you guys, which is now, of course, at 1.0.5, which is awesome, but we'll have to wait a few days until mods get caught up with that. But yeah, if you would like to try out this mod for yourself, you can take a look at the link in the description, as always, and I do hope you check it out. It's a fun little thing. This parachute makes me happy. But if you do check it out and build something awesome, I would love to see. So tweet me, Facebook me, Google+, whatever social medias you use. And yeah, I'd love to see your various cool rusted rocket designs. And of course, I do hope you have enjoyed this episode today and that you come back for the next. But until then, thank you for watching, my friends, and as always, have a good one.